Yes, good evening to everybody. Welcome to the class of the family law, that is the Muslim law. That yesterday I told you that I am going to deal that today doctrine of Radd and Aul. Can you tell me the Radd spelling correct or Aul spelling correct or not? Please watch it and then you tell me.
Sir, R-A-D-D, sir. Aul correct, sir. R-U-D-D, you put, sir.
Wrong. Professor Hussain students will not spell it like that. R-A-D-D. That is the right. Don't say D.
R-A-D-D, sir.
Yes, that is the way of Professor Hussain students will deal. Yes, doctrine of R-A-D-D. I have committed a mistake and Aul, Aul, and that's why they say errare este hominum. What it means? Errare este hominum.
Error?
Say.
Sir.
Errare este hominum.
Errare este humanum.
To err is human being. To err is human being. Errare, E-R-R-A-R-E, errare, est, E-S-T, est, space, humanum, H-U-M-A-N-U-M, humanum means human. To err is human, otherwise they will become angels or Messiah. Yes, can you tell me what it means? You know what it is? Yes? If you know, you tell me. If you don't know, you say pass on.
Pass on, sir. Pass on.
Why you are taking that much time? Because I have given the solution to you. Hums or hum. Hum means it is like a tax. Hums becomes obligatory at the beginning of your financial year on the profit or surplus of your income after deducting the annual living expenses. You should consult a local scholar if you are unsure how to calculate your hums. It is generally fifth share should be distributed among the relatives, poor or orphans. That is hum. The hum you should not eat. The hum you should have to give to the alms to the poor, relatives, orphans. I say orphans. I say relatives. I say poor. Relatives means, suppose we are a Muslim, Muslim relatives. Poor means, does it mean the poor Muslims? No. It may be anybody. Orphans, anybody. But first and foremost, near kindred should be given. If not would be there, then you can give to anybody. Hums. You ask anybody whether you know hums, they will say, what is this? Then they will ask you, oh, that is the reason you attended the Professor Hussain class. That's why you are using a new terminology. Even myself doesn't know. Even myself, I don't know what is hums. Because when I was searching, I found it what the hums. It is nothing but a income tax. It is nothing but a property tax. Are you following me? Say yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that is the called hums. Okay. Now let us see in detail the doctrine of Aul and doctrine of Radd. R-A-D-D, Radd. In the Muslim law of the inheritance, a lot of number of the are fractional parts of unity to various heirs. When you see the Quranic heirs, did you see anywhere one?
No.
No. They are all
Here's.
what is said? They are all fractions. It is there on the screen, but I don't know why you are not getting it. Fraction means 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 2 by 3, 4 by 3. These are all called fractions. There are a lot of numbers are fractional parts of unity. Unity means 1 to various pairs. It may happen that the fractions, when added together, may sometimes be A, equal to the unity, B, more than unity, or C, less than unity. When the more than unity is there, less than unity is there, then the problem comes over there. If the same equal would be there, there is no problem. So that is that problem that we will solve with the doctrine of Aul and doctrine of Radd. When the sum of the fractions is equal to unity, there is no problem. But if it is more or less than unity, the shares of the respective heirs are either reduced or increased respectively. The process whereby the shares are reduced is called doctrine of Aul. It is reduced. Doctrine of Aul, that means you increase the yes, you increase the portion.
Fraction, sir.
Not fraction. You increase the portion. Okay.
Portion.
If the fraction will be increased, suppose 1 by 2 is a fraction. Suppose you want to increase means 1 by 4 is a increase. No, 1 by 4 means a decrease. Is it? The quantity
Yes, sir.
will be increased. The portion should be increased. The allotment should be increased. That is called doctrine of Aul. Where it is reduced, shares are reduced, means less than 10. Reduced means 1 by 2 becomes 1 by 4. Is it not? Is it
Yes,
not?
sir.
Yeah, that
Yes,
is,
sir.
yeah, that is the doctrine of Aul, means that is the increase we will make it out, and the process where the shares are increased is called doctrine of Radd, means return. So doctrine of Radd is return, doctrine of Aul is increased. Now let us see with the example what actually the Radd is. The doctrine of Radd, when in the case property is left after the distribution, or we can say when the party of unity divided and the sum is less than unity. What is less than unity? -1. Is it or not?
Less than unity means the share is less than 1, sir.
Yeah, that's why I say -1.
-1.
Is it or not? Less than unity means less than that is the body. So after that, distributing the property of the deceased amongst the sharers, but there is no heir of the deceased falling under the category of the residuary. When there is no residuary, of course, when there is a residuary, automatically the sharers, leftover property goes to if you don't know, you say pass on. If you don't know, you say pass on.
Pass on, sir.
Simple question. When the property is left over there, after distribution of the sharers, the leftover property go to the second class heirs. Who are the second class heirs under Hanafila?
Second class heirs are grandfathers, brothers, propositors, brothers, sisters, grandfather.
Second class. They come under the second class. That
Yes,
means
sir.
they are the residuaries. After removing the Quranic shares, the other are residuaries. If that step 3 is there, they are called the distant kindred. So, what is it here say? Sharers in the proportion of their shares, the right of the sharers are revert back of the residue property to the sharers. When there are no residuaries.
Residuaries.
If the property is more, sharers are less, the property goes to the residuaries. If the property is less, sharers are more, and there is no residuary, the property will be adjusted among the sharers only. So, the right of the sharers of the revert back of the residue property to the sharers in absence of the residuary heirs is called the return, means it comes back, doctrine of Radd. So we will see the doctrine of Radd or return. Under the Muslim law, this doctrine comes into action when the residue property returns to the sharers because there are no residuaries. Sharers are not the distant kindred, neither the distant kindred. Can it go to the distant kindred when there is no residuary? Yes. Say yes.
Yes, sir.
See, when the father is not there, the property will not go to the father's father. Say it goes.
It goes, sir.
Suppose father is there, whether the property goes to the father?
No.
You tell me in the Muslim law terminology.
If propositus has father, then his share will be given to the father. If in absence of uh, father, the share will be only in the absence of father, share will be gone to the grandfather.
It is like a ordinary man dealing it. A common man say like you, not Professor Hussain, and a student of law will not say like that. If the father is there, then the grandfather is excluded. That is the terminology. If the father
Yes,
is
sir.
not there, then the grandfather is entitled to get the inheritance. That is the style of giving a law student. So now, sharers and not the distant kindred. Suppose the residues are not there, when the second class heirs are not there, and the property is left over there, then the property goes to the distant kindred.
Distant food.
In the absence of any heirs, under the residuary category. In the residuary category, there are no heirs are there, then it will go to the distant kindred. When in case of the more than one sharer, then the property shall be proceeding to be returned in the proportionate share. If there is only one sharer, then the whole of the residue property should be transferred back to the sole heir. There are no residuaries. There are no other sharers. Only two sharers are there. When the property is left over at the time, the leftover property will be shared among the two sharers. The remaining property are called the residue cannot be transferred to the distant kindred as long as there are sharers or residuaries alive. So exceptions cases, there are one or two exceptions are there, but you need not worry about the exception. The exception to the doctrine is that neither the husband nor the wife is entitled to return so as there is another sharer or distant kindred alive. One exception they want to say no. The doctrine is that neither the husband nor the wife is entitled. Neither the husband nor the wife is entitled to return so long as there is another sharer. If another sharer would be there among the 12 sharers, or a distant kindred would be alive. If distant kindred is alive, such questions will not come because they will not return back to the either the wife or the husband. Let us see one of the case law. In the case of the M.A. Chaudhary versus S. Bano, that is the case law, Calcutta court, and Bafatoon versus B. Hanum, there is another case law, Calcutta. The court recognized. What court recognized? Read.
The court recognized that the husband or the wife can claim the return of residue property. This, however, was not recognized in the early Orthodox Muslim laws.
So here they say the court recognized that the husband or wife can claim the return of residue property. This, however, is not recognized in the early Orthodox Muslim law. Earlier, it would not be there, exceptions. But let us see that what will happen. For example, a male die. A male die means propositus dies, and leaving his mother, whose share is 1/6. Mother is down, na mother is up.
Up, sir.
Mother is
Up.
up only. Mother is up only.
Ascendant.
Yes, yes.
Ascendant.
Yeah. So, and when mother was whose share is 1/6, and a daughter whose share is 1/2, but no widow. Suppose widow would be there, then the share will be different. Because widow would be there, means wife is there. When the children are there, the wife share is 1/8. If no children are there, the wife share is 1/4. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if there were two brothers, one of them died, leaving two widows, then the second brother also died, leaving behind a widow. It was decided that she would get only 1/4 shares as a sharer and remaining 3/4 by the doctrine of Radd. Because if it is more excess would be there, it will return back to the wife. Radd. Then one model we will see it, how it can be done. The doctrine of Radd, RADD, can be explained with the help of an illustration where a person dies leaving behind his property. Then the property left after paying for her. What are the deductions? Tell me. Standard deductions.
Awesome, sir.
అమ్మా నీ దండం పెడతా ఇన్ని
No,
రోజులు
sir, again,
పెట్టిన
sir, I can't
funeral
hear the question,
expenses,
sir.
funeral
I can't.
expenses, debts, legacies,
Funeral
and what?
expenses, debts, funeral expense, execution of will, afterwards distribution to heirs.
If at all any property left over there, that will be devolved on the sharers. Okay. Now let us see that what after reduction everything, then mother is there. Propositor's mother is there. Okay. And the daughter is there, means children there, then mother will get only how much they get if the daughter is there. I think 1/6 it seems. Of the deceased and are alive and fall under the category of the sharer, then the mother will be entitled by 1/6 the property and the daughter will be entitled by 1/2 when propositor dies. But propositor doesn't have the widow. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now how many are there? Only mother 1/6, daughter 1/2. Suppose there are two daughters, 2/3. Each daughter will get 2/3.
2/3.
Yes. So now you take the pen and paper. You write 1/6. You take pen and paper and sir, we don't have a pen or the paper, sir, because we are on the smartphone, sir. Okay. I will show you here because I have the one. Even I do have a demonstration for the purposes I put it over there. This is another thing. So 1/6 plus 1/2. How much it comes? Yes. 1/6 plus 1/2. Then what is LCM?
4/6, sir.
LCM?
2/3, sir.
ఎన్నిసార్లు పోతుందండి 6 1/2 1/6 2 అని పెట్టి చూసుకొని 2 1s are 2 2 3s are 2 3 1s are 1 3 into 2 6 LCM అవుతుంది కదండి. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
The 6 now in the 6 you make it out 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 అంటే ఎంత అండి?
8.
8/6 అంటే మరి మిగులుతాందా తగ్గుతాందా ప్రాపర్టీ?
మిగులుతా సార్.
మరి మిగిలింది రెసిడ్యూర్స్ లేరు, ఇంకా వేరే షేరర్స్ లేరు. ఈ మిగిలిన 2 ఏం చేస్తారు మళ్ళీ? వాట్ యు డూ విత్ ద 2? యు రిటర్న్ బ్యాక్ టు ద
reduce the portion, sir.
8/6 అంటే 2 మిగులుతున్నాయా లేదా? మిగులుతాయా లేదా?
మిగులుతున్నాయి సార్.
1లకెళ్ళి తీసేయాలి అది. మిగులుతున్నాయంటే మిగులుతున్నాయి.
సార్ 1/6 plus 1/2 is equal to 2/3, సార్.
1/6 ఇంటూ అంటలేను నేను. 1/6 plus 1/2. How much?
2/3, సార్. 2/3. 2/3.
1లకెళ్ళి తీసేయండి 2/3. 1లకెళ్ళి తీసేయండి 2/3ని.
1/3, సార్. 1/3.
1/3 అంటే ఇప్పుడు మిగులుతుందా పోతుందా? ఎంత అసలు ఏమవుతుంది ఇది?
మిగులుతుంది సార్, మిగులుతుంది.
1/3 అంటే మిగులుతుందా? అవునండి. 3/3 అంటే ఏం మిగలదు.
సార్ 1/3 మిగులుతుంది. 1/3 ప్రాపర్టీ విల్ స్టిల్ రిమైన్ సార్.
మిగులుతుంది ఏది కట్ అయిన తర్వాత. మరి ఎక్సెస్ ఉన్నట్ట అది లెస్ ఉన్నట్ట.
ఎక్సెస్ ఉన్నట్టే.
మరి ఎక్సెస్ ఉన్నది మళ్ళీ ఈక్వల్ గా వీళ్ళకి రావాలి కదా.
అంతే.
దాన్ని అంటారు డాక్ట్రిన్ ఆఫ్ రాడ్. ఓకే, నౌ సే ద టోటల్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఆఫ్ ది మదర్ అండ్ డాటర్ ఈజ్ 1/6 ప్లస్ 1/2 అంటే 2/3. The 2/3 is less than the unity of the unity, and the 1/3 of the property will still remain after distribution of the property among the sharers. Here, how many sharers are there?
2 sir. 2.
Wow.
Mother and daughter. Mother and daughter 2.
Yes. Therefore, in this case, the doctrine of return Radd will apply. Why? Property is excess, and there is no other sharers. There is no other residuaries. Are you following me?
Sir.
If the residuaries would be there, then this 2/3, this 1/3 property goes to the
Distributed to sharers sir.
మంది దండం పెడతా. షేరర్స్ ఇద్దరే ఉన్నారు కదండి, అయిపోయింది. ద రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది అమౌంట్ మిగిలింది. when the మిగిలిన ద ప్రాపర్టీ, ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఆర్ రెసిడ్యూరీస్, ఇట్ గోస్ టు ద
రెసిడ్యూరీస్.
ఆన్సర్ చెప్తానని మొత్తం చెప్తాను, డాష్ అనే వరకు ఏదో ఆలోచిస్తాను. ఎనీవే లెట్ us see that what will happen. I don't know whether you are hearing properly or not.
It is అంటే మీరు డాక్ట్రైన్ ఆఫ్ రద్దు అన్నారు కదా సార్, అందుకని 1/3 కూడా అది ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసుకొని వాళ్ళకే షేరర్స్ కి ఇచ్చేస్తారని అనుకున్నాను. అందుకని
కానీ దాని కూడా ఒక రూల్ ఉన్నది. Therefore, in this case, the doctrine of return Radd will apply. సో ఎట్లా అప్లై అవుతుంది? ద ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ చూడండి. అందుకోసం మీకు పెన్ను పుస్తకం పెట్టుకోండి అని చెప్పాను నేను. ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ would be to reduce the fraction of the sharers. Reduce the fraction of the sharers to a common denominator. అయితే కామన్ డినామినేటర్ని ఎట్లా చేయాలి? ఇప్పుడు డినామినేటర్ అంటే ఏది, పైదా కిందిదా?
కిందిది.
సో కామన్ డినామినేటర్ చేయాలి దాన్ని. ఇప్పుడు కామన్ డినామినేటర్ చేయడానికి 1/6 ప్లస్ 1/2 2/3ని ఏ విధంగా చేయొచ్చు అంటే 1/6 ప్లస్ 3/6 చేయొచ్చు. చేయొచ్చా లేదా?
చేయొచ్చు సార్.
ఎందుకంటే 1/6 3/6 అంటే 1/6. Is it or not?
సార్
ఎస్. అటువంటి ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నాం ఇది? మనం ఈక్వల్ 1కి రావాలి అది మనకు. సో 1/6 ప్లస్ 3/6. సో ద ఫ్రాక్షన్స్ ఆర్ రెడ్యూస్డ్. ఇప్పుడు రెడ్యూస్ అయిందా, ఫ్రాక్షన్ పెరిగిందా?
రెడ్యూస్ అయింది సార్.
The fractions are reduced in such a form where 6 is the common denominator. 6 is the common denominator. Now the 1/6 plus 3/6. Okay. The second step ఇప్పుడు అందుకోసం మీకు పెన్ అండ్ పెన్సిల్ పెట్టుకోమని చెప్పాను నేను. The second step would be to decrease the denominator. To decrease the denominator to make it equal to the sum of the nominators. Numerators, not numerators, and allow the individual numerators to remain the same as they are. So thus 1/6 plus 3/6 will become
1/4 plus 3/4.
1/4 plus 3/4. ఎందుకు? నామినేటర్కి ఏది ఉన్నదో, ఏది నామినేటర్కి రావాలంటే మనకు ఈ 1/6ని 3/6ని ఏమవుతుంది? 1/4 3/4 చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది తెలుసా? 1 వస్తుంది మనకు. 1/4 3/4. In this case, the denominator is made equal to the 4 at the time. So will become 4 because of the sum of the both the nominator is 1, numerator is 4, then 4/4 అవుతుంది. కాబట్టి ఏం చేయాలంటే 1/6 ప్లస్ 3/6ని మామూలుగా మనకు ఆ పైన న్యూమరేటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి చూడండి, 1 + 3. ఆ 1 + 3 అంటే 4 అవుతుంది కదా. ఆ 4 వచ్చేటట్టు 4 అయ్యేటట్టు ఏం చేయాలి? డినామినేటర్ని మనం ఎట్లా
రెడ్యూస్ చేయాలి
తగ్గియాలా
రెడ్యూస్ చేయాలి సార్.
రెడ్యూస్ చేయాలి మనం. రెడ్యూస్ చేస్తే రిటర్న్ అవుతుంది. రెడ్యూస్ చేయాలి మనం. అయితే 1/4 3/4 చేస్తే అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? వెన్ యూ మేక్ 1/4 + 3/4 దెన్ బికమ్స్ టోటల్ 1 ప్రాపర్టీ. అండ్ హెన్స్ విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ డాక్ట్రైన్ ద షేర్స్ ఆఫ్ ది షేరర్ ఆర్ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్. ఇప్పుడు షేర్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయిందా తగ్గిందా?
ఇంక్రీజ్ అయింది సార్.
ఇంక్రీజ్ అయింది షేర్ అక్కడ. That is hence with the help of this doctrine the sharers of the sharer are increased proportionately in such a manner. In which manner? In such a manner that the sum of the sharers, yes, is missing here. Yes, sum of the sharers of the property of sharers become equal to
యూనిటీ.
1 unity. అది ఇంతవరకు కష్టపడ్డది దేనికి? 1 రావాలా కాబట్టి డాక్ట్రిన్ ఆఫ్ రడ్ ఇక్కడ అవుతుంది. ఓకే ఓకే. మరి డాక్ట్రిన్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ చూద్దాం ఎట్టున్నదో. డాక్ట్రిన్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్, when in case the total sum of the specific shares allotted to the various sharers exceeds the unity. Exceeds the unity అంటే -1 కింద వస్తుంది. Then the doctrine of increase means all comes into the application. In this doctrine, the specific share of each sharer is reduced. అక్కడ ఏంది? increased. ఏంటిది? sharers. Here the sharer will be reduced because it is more than 1. Reduced in a proportion to a unity. అంటే how? Let us see it. The proportionate share reduces in the following manner. First step, okay, by reducing the shares to common denominator. So now denominator should be common. First thing. The second step is by increasing the denominator. అక్కడ ఏం చేసాం మనం? డిక్రీజింగ్ ద డినామినేటర్ చేసాం. అప్పుడు షేర్స్ ఎక్కువ అయిపోయినాయి. ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తాను? ఇంక్రీజింగ్ ద డినామినేటర్ టు మేక్ ఇట్ ఈక్వల్ టు ద సమ్ ఆఫ్ ది న్యూమిరేటర్, allowing the numerator to stand as they are. Numerator is as it is ఉంటాయి. Illustration, let us see. A woman dies. Who is the propositus here? Woman dies, leaving behind her property. Okay. Then the property left after the paying of her funeral expenses, their debts and legacies, means wills, and the rest of the property left over there, that is distributed among the sharers. That is devolved upon the sharers. Distributed anagadu. Devolved upon the sharers means inheritance devolved on the sharers. The husband of the deceased woman and her 2 full sisters. The husband of the deceased woman and her 2 full sisters are alive and fall under the category of the sharer. Then husband will be entitled to 1/2. ఈ 1/2 ఎట్లా వచ్చిందండి? 1/4 ఎందుకు రాలే హస్బెండ్కి? అంటే చిల్డ్రన్స్ లేరు ఇక్కడ, డిసెండెంట్స్ లేరు, అసెండెంట్స్ లేరు. ఒక ఫుల్ సిస్టర్సే ఉన్నారు అన్నట్టు. ఎవరి ఫుల్ సిస్టర్స్ వాళ్ళు?
ప్రపోజిటర్స్ ఫుల్ సిస్టర్స్. ప్రపోజిటర్స్ ఫుల్ సిస్టర్ సార్.
ప్రపోజిటర్ ఫుల్ సిస్టర్ అయితే ఆడమే చనిపోతే వాళ్ళకు ఉంటుందా అండి? వాళ్ళ అక్కలకు చెల్లెలకు ఉంటారా అండి?
అంటే ప్రపోజిటర్ ఫుల్ సిస్టర్స్ కమ్ ఇన్ ది కేటగిరీ ఆఫ్ షేరర్స్ నో సార్. 12 షేరర్స్.
సో హియర్ ద యాక్చువల్లీ ద హస్బెండ్, అంటే హస్బెండ్ సిస్టర్సే అవుతారండి.
అంటే ఉమెన్ కి చిల్డ్రన్ లేరు కాబట్టి ఫుల్ సిస్టర్స్ కి కూడా వాటా వస్తుంది సార్.
Let me see that the husband of the deceased woman and her 2 sisters, her means such pena ide, 2 full sisters are alive and fall under the category of the sharers. Then husband will be entitled to 1/2 fraction of the property of the deceased, and the 2 full sisters will be entitled to 2/3, 2/3. And that 2/3 will be divided among the 2. మరి ఈచ్ వన్ గెట్ 2/3 మరి అది చేస్తే మరి హాఫ్ వచ్చేస్తుంది.
2/6 అవుతుంది సార్, ఒక్కొక్కరికి 2/6 వస్తుంది.
ఓకే. నౌ ద టోటల్ ఆఫ్ 1/2 and 2/3 విల్ బి 7/3. 2/3 అంటే ఇద్దరు ఉన్నారు కదండి, ఇద్దరికి 2/3 అంటే కలుపుకొని
ఇద్దరు
2/3
కలుపుకొని
కదండి.
2/3, ఒక్కొక్కరికి 2/6 వస్తుంది సార్.
ఇప్పుడు 2/3కి కలుపుకున్నాం అనుకోండి, అంటే మొత్తం 2/3 ఉంటుంది. ఆ 2/3 ఇద్దరిలో ఉన్నది ఎంతమంది అయితే అంతమందికి డివైడ్ అవుతుంది, కానీ ప్రాపర్టీ మాత్రం 2/3 కదా.
అంతే సార్.
1/2 and 2/3 విల్ బి ఎంత అవుతుంది?
7/6.
7/6. అంటే ఇప్పుడు 7/6 అంటే ప్రాపర్టీ ఎక్సీడ్ ద యూనిటీ అయింది కదా ఇక్కడ.
అయింది సార్, మోర్ దాన్ 1 ఉంది.
And hence in this case there is no residuaries, there is no other sharers. So the doctrine of increase or all will come into the application. అయితే ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి? ఇప్పుడు 7/6ని ఏం చేయాలి? ఆ 6ని ఏం చేయాలా? మళ్ళీ 7 చేయాలి ఇప్పుడు. ఇజ్ ఇట్ ఆర్ నాట్?
7 చేయాలి.
అప్పుడు 7 చేయాలంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి దాని టెక్నిక్? సో ద ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ వుడ్ బి reduce the fraction of the sharers to a common denominator. ఈ 1/2 2/3 కామన్ డినామినేటర్ చేయాలంటే 3/6 4/6 వస్తాయి చూడండి. ఫ్రాక్షన్స్ రెడ్యూస్ టు ద ఫ్రమ్ 6 ఈజ్ ద కామన్ డినామినేటర్ అవుతుంది. అయితే మళ్ళీ అప్పుడు 7/6 వస్తుంది కదా. ఓకే, 3/6/4/6 చెప్పేసిన అందరూ కామన్ డినామినేటర్ చేయడానికి. ఓకే, ద సెకండ్ స్టెప్ వుడ్ బి టు ఇంక్రీజ్ ద డినామినేటర్ టు మేక్ ఇట్ ఈక్వల్ టు ద సమ్ న్యూమిరేటర్. న్యూమిరేటర్లో ఎంత ఉన్నదండి ఇప్పుడు? 3+4 7 కావాలి ఇప్పుడు. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఆ డినామినేటర్ని ఎంత పెంచాలా? 1 పెంచాలా 2 పెంచాలా?
1 పెంచాలి సార్.
The second step would be the increase the denominator to make the equal to the sum of the numerators and allow the individual numerators to remain the same as they were. Thus 3/6 and 4/6 will become 3/7 and 4/7 అయిపోతుంది automatically. Is it or not?
ఓకే సార్.
కాబట్టి ఇన్ దిస్ కేస్ ద డినామినేటర్ ఇస్ మేడ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 7 అవుతుంది. కాబట్టి 3 + 7 4/7, ఇట్ ద ఎల్సిఎం ఇస్ 7. then you add it 3 + 4 7, 7/7 unit 1. So made equal to 7 because the sum of the both of the numerator is 7. So hence with the help of this doctrine the total sum of the shares of the property of the sharers are reduced in a proportionate manner and become the equal to unity. Example, a husband holds 1/4. By 1/4 can be written as a 3/12 also, reduced with 3/13. Mother holds 1/6. 1/6 also can be written as a 2/12, then reduced to the 2/3, 13. Then two daughters hold shares 2/3. 2/3 can be written as 8/12 and reduced to the 8/13. Then you numerators you collected 3 + 2 5 + 8 13. 13/13 now equal. అంటే ఇది చేంజెస్ చేసినా మనం ఇది చేంజెస్ చేసినాం. ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు చేసినామండి? టు మేక్ ఇట్ ఈక్వల్ నామినేటర్ రావడానికి.
అదే అంటే న్యూమరేటర్ డినామినేటర్ ఈక్వల్ చేయడానికి 1 పెంచిండ్రు సార్.
That is the reason that we did it here. So now the total come out of reducing the 13/12, but after reducing it becomes a 13/13. When it is a 13/13 means unit 1. Is it or not?
Yes sir.
So that is the method that you have to adapt it. When there are no residuaries and no sharers. If the property is equal, no problem. If the property is less, then you have to proportionally decrease it. If the property is more, proportionally you have to adjust to it. So either use the doctrine of Aul, doctrine of Radd. Doctrine of Aul, when you use it to increase the shares.
If property is అంటే ఇప్పుడు it is more to decrease the shares.
Yeah, decrease the shares అన్నప్పుడు increase the Radd ante return. Radd ante
Radd అంటే decrease the share and increase the share. Aul అంటే decrease the share, sir.
Yes. So that is the way you have to make it out regarding the things. And if you want to see the model, I put some models over here. One owl model I put it here, one Radd model I put it here. You know how to calculate LCM? 1/4 plus 1/6 plus 2/3. Then the LCM is 12. 3 plus 2 plus 8. 8 plus 2, 10. And 10 plus 3, 13. 13/12. 13/12 అంటే ఎక్సెస్ ఉన్నదా లేదండి ఇక్కడ?
ఎక్సెస్ ఉంది సార్ 1.
మరి ఎక్సెస్ ఉన్న దానికి మళ్ళీ ఏం చేయాలి? మళ్ళీ ఆ 1లోకి వెళ్ళి తీసేయాలి. మళ్ళీ
13.
1/32 పెట్టుకుంటే ఏమైతే -1 వచ్చినది. ఇజ్ ఇట్ నాట్?
Yes, sir.
-1 అంటే తక్కువ ఉన్నదా ఎక్కువ ఉన్నట్ట?
ఎక్కువ ఉన్నట్టు సార్. అంటే దాన్ని తగ్గియాలి.
ఇక మైనస్ ఉన్నదంటే యూ హావ్ టు ఇంక్రీజ్ ఇట్. అంటే దాంట్లో తక్కువ చేయాలి, ఫ్రాక్షన్లో తక్కువ చేయాలి. అప్పుడు
అంటే 13/13 చేయాలి సార్.
మరి దాన్ని
Denominator
13/13 చేయాలంటే మరి డినామినేటర్ని మళ్ళీ 13కి పట్టుకురావాలగా, అంటే ఇంక్రీజ్ చేయాలి అక్కడ. అప్పుడు అక్కడ ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసింది అనుకోండి, మరి అప్పుడు దెన్ ద షేర్స్ విల్ బి రెడ్యూస్డ్. షేర్స్ విల్ బి రెడ్యూస్డ్. ఇప్పుడు 1/2ను డినామినేటర్ ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసినాం అనుకోండి, 1/2ను 1/4 చేసినాం అనుకోండి, షేర్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతానా డిక్రీజ్ అవుతానా?
సార్ 1/2ని
1/4 చేసినాం అనుకోండి,
తగ్గుతా సార్.
దెన్ ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ద షేర్ విల్ బి రెడ్యూస్డ్ అయితే.
డిక్రీజ్.
కాబట్టి 1కి పట్టుకురావాలి కదా మరి. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద వే ఆఫ్ ఎల్సిఎం. ఎట్లా దెన్ we will see it, the another point, owl. This is the one of the model. Can you explain this model? Read.
Sir, it is too small, sir.
Too small. What about now?
Now okay, sir. Now okay, sir. Now okay.
Read.
A female Muslim died, leaving her husband, mother, 3 daughters. And husband share will be 1/4. As there are linear descendants, mother share will be 1/6, and 3 daughters will get 2/3. The share is divided as 1/4 is 3/12, 1/6 is 2/12, 3 daughters 2/3, 8/12, means total 13/12. So as it is more than 1, the shares are reduced as 3/12 to 3/13 husband share, and mother share 2/12 as 2/13.
Good.
And 3 daughters share 8/12 as 8/13.
Okay.
So as 13/13 it goes to unity. It is unity. So as per the doctrine of Aul, the shares are reduced to get unity.
So after applying the rule of owl, the denominator is increased from 12 to 13. The denominator is increased 12 to 13, that is the owl. And there is some decrease in shares. So doctrine of owl, increase the denominator, decrease the shares. When the property is available in the hands of the distribution, real property is less than the Quranic table. If it is less than the Quranic table, at that instance, you have to do in that way. If it is more than, it's opposite we have to do. So that is the one I would like to share. Then now you tell me about this one. Yes. Doctrine of owl or doctrine of
Doctrine of Aul or doctrine of increase, Muslim
Yes.
law.
Yeah. Next.
Sir, it is not visible, sir, clearly. Up tools వచ్చినాయి, sir. Okay.
What about now?
Okay, sir. Most of the time, the property of the deceased equals the total shares of the heirs. But sometimes the property available is lesser than the shares specified as per Quranic distribution of property. A Muslim lady dies leaving husband, father, and 2 daughters. Husband share is 1/4. Father will get 1/6, and 2 daughters 2/3. Common denominator 4, 6, 3 is 12. With that calculation becomes as below. Husband 3/12, father 2/12, two daughters 8/12, 4/12, 4/12. Total 13/12. Means denominator is less to numerator. So we should increase the denominator. 13/12 becomes 13/13. This is called owl. Husband 3/13, father 2/13, 2 daughters 18, 8/13, 4/13 plus 4/13. Means
So
total
now,
13/13.
so you increase the
In
denominator.
total unit.
So this is the way you have to make it out. Then what about this thing? The same thing.
Same one, sir.
Yeah. I reversed it because I used the cursor. Then automatically it will come. And least common multiples you need not worry about. Least common multiples. Now, anyway, that it is going to be stopped soon. What is the difference between a Shia and Sunni law of inheritance? Read. Read.
Based on my knowledge, in Sunni law, the spouse and the parents are included among sharers, while in Shia law, the parents and the spouse take their portions before the heirloom was distributed between the children of deceased person. So according to the Sunni law, in some cases we face with extra sharers that could not be paid. Shia law divides legal heirs into three basic classes. Class 1, parents and children, male and female. The children also include their descendants howsoever, irrespective of the fact whether they are descendants of male or female children. Class 2, grandparents, true or false, howsoever, and brothers and sisters, full consequent and uterine, and their descendants how low soever, irrespective of their gender. Class 3, paternal uncles and aunts, maternal uncles and aunts, and their children how low soever, irrespective of their gender. Once the heirs are divided into the above classes, there are two basic rules which need to be understood. Firstly, as long as
Understood.
an heir,
Need to be understood.
sir, class 1, class 2, class 3 heirs division
No,
only.
this is needs to be understood. Okay. After that one, firstly, as long as the hairs are the more than one is present from the class one, no one will be entitled to inheritance from the class two, because property is exhausted there only the among the legal heirs, Quranic heirs. Nothing is left over there. At that instance, nobody is going to get it. From the class 2, similarly, if there is an heir or more than one from the class 2, no will have anything from the class 3. You will not get it. The property will be exhausted in the class 2 only. Then class 3 will not get it. These classes lay down a basic framework in which an estate of the Shia deceased is distributed, except that the deceased spouse is dealt with differently. Spouse is a different case should be there. We will take up this matter in the next section, but this is the only the theoretical aspect we made it. Yeah, but anyway, that we know that how the division would be there. So now let us see we know the per capita per strip, is it not?
Yes, sir.
And in the Sunni law, 3 types of sharers are there, but Shia law only 2 types of sharers. In the Sunni law, Quranic sharers, residuaries, distant kindred. But in the Shia law, the Quranic sharers and only 9. Quranic sharers only 9, and residuaries are no distant kindred. And under Sunni law, all property will be shared by the children, widow, irrespective of the movable and immovable property. But under the Shia law, a childless widow is entitled to get her share 1/4 in the inheritance only from a movable property left by her husband, deceased husband, but not the immovable property in the Shia law. When childless widow, childless means doesn't have the child, to whom propositors send the widow. At that instance, immovable property not there. But in Sunni law, both movable property, the widow would be entitled. Under Sunni law, the distribution of the assets is per capita. Yes, we have seen it. That is to say, the highest does not in any respect represent the branch of the which they inherit. Like the Shia law, there are several heirs of the same class, but they descend from the different branches. The distribution among these is per strip. I told you, per strip and per capita. And primogenitors means offspring is the principle of the inheritance, under which eldest son of the deceased enjoy the certain special privileges in the Shia law. The Muslim law does not recognize the rule of a progenitor, and all sons are treated equally. But in the Shia law, the eldest one get the father's sword, father's clothes, father musalla means where he prayer, and father tasbih where he counts Allah Allah, that counting beads. These are the. However, under the Shia law, the eldest son has an exclusive right to inherit the father's garment, father's sword, father's ring, father's copy of Quran, provided such eldest son is of sound mind. The father is left certain other properties besides these articles. So these are the distinctions that you will find in the inheritance between the Sunni and the Shia law. Yes. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Still 5 minutes are left over there. So now you do have an idea what is doctrine of Radd and what is doctrine of Aul.
Yes, sir.
So in the exam, generally they do ask short questions, but you give the example and you can write it. By that way, I am sure that it will be more than enough for your understanding. Is it or not? So now, after going through it, of course, we don't need the least common multiples, we don't need it. This is least common multiples. Here, multiple 3 and 2 to 24, multiple 4, the LCM is 3 into 4, 12. But here, teaching of LCM and the CGF, 24, 36, 2 times go, 2 12s are 2 18s are. Then it goes 2 times, 2 6 are 2 9s are. Then it goes 3 times, 3 2s and 3 9s are. Then the LCM is 3 into 2, 6, 6 into 8, 3 18, 18 into 2, 18 into 2, 26, 26 into 2, 72. 72. No, this is not LCM, this is GCF. LCM is 72 here. Okay. So, and now at least you could have an idea. LCM are least common multiples. How we can count it? Common multiples of 3 and 5 and 15. The LCM is 3 into 5. Common multiples, how you can count it? And with pictorial, there are 6 fraction of shares mentioned in the Quran. That is 2/3, 1/2, 1/4, 1/.